Hi, I'm Jason Klom with the Comedy on Vinyl podcast, and I'm doing a comedy album a day, playing catch-ups. That's why you're getting two of these today. I'm doing Tour de Farce, the Smothers Brothers American History album. It's the full title is Tour de Farce, American History and Other Unrelated Subjects. So it's not just American history; it's just another title. 1964 is this album. Same year as the greatest hits that the DJ special only edition one that I posted a few days ago. This is another situation where more and more of these do I realize I've actually heard. Although I tried to play this one, I used to over-collect Smothers Brothers and tried to play this one, and it didn't play for shit. Luckily, one that my friends gave me did play very nicely, so I feel okay about over-collecting the Smothers Brothers at the very least. This one has just so many good things. I mean, it's starts out with some basic sibling stuff. I did take a few notes, not a whole lot of notes, but there's there's a couple really great bits on here. One of the funniest songs that I never noticed Pat Paulson wrote is "Mediocre Fred," which is a song about a boring guy named Mediocre Fred, who I don't want to give it away, but let's just say Mediocre Fred has a dark side that makes him less mediocre, and it's very, very funny. There's also a bit on here where Dickie says to Tommy that Tommy uses the word poemist for a person who writes poems, and Dickie tells him there's no such word, and he says, there's no such word as poemist, and Dickie and Tommy says, no, I don't, which is just, oh my god, if you don't laugh at that delivery, not my delivery, I'm exhausted, his delivery, I don't know what to say for you. There's also a part where they talk about pumas, or pumas as they pronounce it. The pumas show up a lot in this, and also in the Aesop's Fables album, there's a mention of pumas as well. There's just the joy of listening. See, you really do picture it, but of listening to Tommy Smothers just act like a child when they're talking about pumas, and he's saying that Paul Bunyan had a vicious blue puma. And Dickie said, well, you've never seen a puma with horns on it. And then the only line that Tommy needs to say is, horny puma. And he starts laughing at himself. It's just so ridiculous. It's very, I'm going to be honest. I mean, it's without, that's not a joke. It is a joke, but it is not a set-up punchline joke. And that's one of the things I love so much about the Smothers Brothers, that it's just so character-based. It's so, it's not just character and there's like an ebb and flow to a scene or whatever. It's barely a scene. It's characters, literally a character blurting something out is the joke. And that's great. And this one, I guess I've heard all the tracks on here before. I must have listened to this album several times through. I always just think of the Purple Onion because that's the one that I had as a kid. But I don't know when I heard this one first. I really don't. I must have owned some others on vinyl as a kid and not realized it, because I do distinctly remember, this is also the album in which at one point Tommy says serially instead of seriously. And that was the thing my friends and I said to each other all the time, way before South Park started saying cereal, super cereal. So we felt like we're on a very weird small bandwagon. Bandwagon? I don't know. But there you go. Tour de Farce is a ton of fun. They're all good. There's not a bad Smothers Brothers album. In terms of comedy, though, Play It Straight is not. I mean, it's just music, but it's also good. It's also very good. And I probably will talk about it at some point because it's an honorable mention because it is the Smothers Brothers. And honestly, I think they're some of the best comedy albums that have ever been put together, especially for a couple guys who are doing kind of the same shtick over and over again. But the characters are perfect. Their dynamic is great. And it's great when one of them either planned or not unplanned makes a mistake and the other one makes fun of them for it. Because there is a genuine there's a sibling rivalry thing going on there. It might be small, but when they exaggerate it for comedy, it's delightful, and they're great musicians. They are genuinely good musicians. It's wonderful when they sing beautifully together and they harmonize, and it's also wonderful when one of them just decides not to, which is usually Tommy. So there you go, 1964's Tour de Farce, the Smothers Brothers. If you would, subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us at Comedy on Vinyl wherever you can. and subscribe here on YouTube. There's a button somewhere here. Send people, if you share it, hashtag it Comedy Album a Day. And that's about it. I'm Jason Klom. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a good thing. Maybe. I'm going to try and press the stop button now.